So this one was not a winning, but I love it. These are little plumber's rulers that is sold by Seven Gypsies. And I thought these were really cool, and I could see myself using them, and this is going to sound weird to you, but as binding for books. And so I want to actually use it in my book creations. By the way, the reason I went to the convention was to get more paper for making more books. And you can see that I got a lot more than paper, but you'll get to see my paper. This is another Seven Gypsies product. This is a set of book covers, front and back. And what I like to do with them is I like to Coptic bind them, and I actually change this front piece. So when I make that book, I'll share it with you. This was a winning. These are just some paper clips that are embellished with buttons. And I saw that. I was like, hey, I could make that with my Stampin' Up! Corduroy buttons. And they would coordinate with my paper and my patterns. So kind of excited about that. The paper clips. That was a winning. This butterfly button. It looks like it's made of wood, although it isn't. But it's beautiful. These are really nice. Christmas Lost and Found. There's Santa. 12 Days of Christmas. Okay. These are beautiful brads. So these brads, I can think of 1,000 uses for them, but I also like these circle embellishments because they're perfect to accentuate our scallop punch. Like I'll put it in the middle of the scallop punch. Then this one, also Lost and Found. It's got a lot of the nice blues in it. I think this is also scrapbooking pages for me. These are details on scrapbooking pages. Another set of the brads. I think this is the Sunshine series. And so you've got some flowers. I don't know if you can see that says happy. Then there's this really adorable ancient sewing machine right there. I have a couple of friends that are seamstresses, and so I'll use that button on one of their cards to make embellishments. So like if you look at this scallop, it's a little bit smaller than the Stampin' Up. So I'll stamp a piece of cardstock Stampin' Up, and then I'll put this in the middle. And they have glitter. I don't know if you can see that sparkle. These are some more winnings. I have no idea what these are. Sorry. I have absolutely no idea what they are. But they look like some kind of a glitter powder. I'll have to look it up. That's the thing about when you win stuff, you don't know what it is. And then the big 12x12 on this is beautiful glitter. So they're just the patterns, which are still beautiful. There's that brad in the paper. Still gorgeous papers, but the larger 12x12 size has glitter, and the smaller scale 6x6 do not have glitter. But you know what? I have a two-way glue pen, and I have glitter in my drawer. If I wanted to copy that glitter effect on this 6x6, I sure as hell could in just a few seconds. So, love it. Those are my little items on the boardwalk. Most of you have probably already seen these papers, but I like to use it to cover books and to make pamphlets. So 3-stitch pamphlets, which I did a video on a couple of weeks ago. But this paper to me is perfect for 3-stitch pamphlets. Just little notebooks that I use to journal and make lists in, and even card sketches. Actually, last year's Christmas set, so I'm not going to show you this one. This is from last year. And I use that set so much for brag books that I'm going to do it again. So I make little brag books that people can use to put the photos of their kids visiting Santa. So I call them Santa Day brag books. And I love to use this paper. So this is exactly the one from last year because I loved it so much. I'm going to do it again. So I took 2 classes. This one was an acrylic book. This is the cover. So the book is acrylic. So what we learned in this class really was how to put your papers down and layer them so that you take advantage of the edge of one side. So that paper that's around this edge is actually on the other, was stuck down on the other side, and then you use a smaller paper to take advantage of that paper and how to hide your adhesive. So that's the back of that one. And this is the flip. So we were using some 3D dimensionals, and she was talking about, you know, picking things up, stamping dimensionals and stuff. And so with the class, you see I still have several pages of acrylic left. And then she also gave us full color instructions for every page. Since we have the kit, we can go home and finish it. So that was a really cool class. Best class ever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-page layouts. Again, we had color diagrams of what they should look like when we get done. So you see, we cut this out of the paper because one of the papers had this in there, so we cut it out of another sheet and put it on here. Then we worked with these 3D components, like layered stickers. And then she talked to us about mats, and really, really beautiful. But in this class, what I got attracted to was the papers. The papers are just beautiful. Now, I deviated from her design quite often. Like here, I used black ink and tearing to make this paper look burnt, but she didn't do that. Hers was wide. So, you know, one thing about classes is don't hesitate to deviate from what the teacher's saying. It's okay if you deviate a little bit and make it your own. And that's what I did in some cases. This one, we took a sheet of paper and we cut out the inside square. And then we put that border, which was all glittered, on top of another piece of paper that was neutral. It just hugely makes it pop out. I really enjoyed that class. And then this one was, so these are both pockets. And then this tag comes out. And then we made some 3-dimensional balloons over here, and this string kind of still there. And then one of the kits, I didn't make it in the class. So I was listening and I was helping my partner next to me, but I didn't make it because I want to give it as a gift. It's so pretty. So I learned a lot about scrapbooking because I don't really do 12x12s ever. I really only do mini albums. So it was really nice to learn how to do the larger size. I went and I bought so much of this paper. So I'm going to share these with you undisturbed. Look at these papers. I'm just going to shut up and let you look at them. Oh my goodness. I think these are recently released. I know I've never seen them before. Do you see that sparkle? Really beautiful. And I cut these out because in the class she had the nerve to cover these. I was like, is she crazy? But the layout did look good with them covered, but before we covered it, I cut it out. So if you're having a class, and people are covering up things, quickly cut them out and you can use them later, because if you put it in a book with the layouts back to back, they won't see that it's cut out. Oh my goodness, I'm just so impressed with this paper, and I'm sorry. I know I sell my own paper, but I can appreciate other people's paper too, can't I? Sure I can. And it's just gorgeous. I kind of wish the 6x6 were as glittered and flocked as these are. And look, this is from the Christmas set. A whole sheet of die cut. You just punch them out. Embellishments that you can use on cards. Just gorgeous. This is the Christmas pack that I'm looking at now. Look at that. Each tree has a glittered star on the top. I'm going to stop talking about this stuff and show you my last layout. Because you've probably already seen these papers, but since it's new, I figured I'd show you each one. Look at Santa. So, again, I'm going to use this mostly for, I'm going to use the die cuts for cards, but the big sheets I'm going to use for books. I'll try to remember to share some of the books with you. Gorgeous.